So like I want to take you, back a little, you know, focus more on the team. Take a look back 2 months from now. You're building your team, you're building your squad, and you're building up, your playbook and stuff. How confident are you, or were you, that you were gonna make it into the playoffs this season? Were you like, oh, this is gonna be pretty easy? I got it. I watch football. I can like structure a team. Or like, are you pretty surprised that you were like able to make it? Losing some talent but gaining perks like halfway through.
Yeah. No, I think I don't know if I really had expectations going into the season or like any kind of thoughts on how the outcome would be. So I wouldn't say I'm surprised or not surprised. But I will say that like the way that we ran the team and like the things that happened throughout was something that, I don't think I could have guessed. Like having Raz come in and the level of good deals that we made. I think like if there was a category for winning on the economic side in college or winning on the trade side, we definitely took the cake. So that was something that I wasn't necessarily thinking about. I know it's a strong suit of mine, and it's part of the reason that I want to be a franchise owner is to play that game. No, I think like the success of the team really came from them and just, trusting the playbook and trusting themselves and just working on development. They, we had a pretty deep roster. So a lot of the time, we have like enough for a primary team and a secondary team. And we just rotate play time and just, have this certain mentality about it. And, once we're able to execute that mentality and just slow the game down and play our game, we just find that success. So, the only times that we've lost are times that we've panicked. Like we've put too much, we put the other team on a pedestal and, got intimidated by them and let them play their game. We didn't play ours. So, that's the kind of thing that I learned as a coach is something that, to look out for and to try to level that playing field. So yeah, it was, we're happy that we're here. But I think, I think regardless, we would have found success in season one. No matter the record.
All right. Nice. And then talking about perks a little bit, he came in halfway through the season. Are you scared of losing him now? Because how many years can players play in college before they go pro? Well, or is there like a limit?
Yeah, there is. And, this season is going to be different. I was going to talk about the draft. I'll give some more details on how the draft will work as we approach it in the off season. The draft is the last event of the off season. So, I think we're playing on an 8-week off season here, just to accommodate for expansion and other things like that. And the other massive things that we need to do. We're going to be building a website and overhauling contracts. So let me circle back to the contracts because that's actually pretty exciting. But I'm not afraid of losing perks. I actually expect to lose perks in the draft. This season, any college player will be allowed to register for the draft because it's just the start and, there's not enough experience and depth in the play. After this, though, a college player will, I haven't decided yet. I think I'm going to make it a minimum of 2 seasons in college before they're allowed to register. The maximum is established, though. That is already in the rule book. The maximum amount of time that a college player can play is 6 seasons in college.
Oh, wow.
So, after 6, they have to either register for the draft, try to go pro. There is a plan because, like I said, pro should be more exclusive. And the thought about it is like, ideally, we'll max out at 32 pro teams. And then from there, continue to expand the college scene. So like upwards of 100 college teams if we get there. That many more. Just so that there's a lot of talent, a lot of development happening, and only the best of the best go pro. But those players that still want to play, that maybe aren't good enough to go pro or just aren't being recognized, I will end up having a 3rd division. This will be down the road, maybe 3 or 4 seasons from now. But there will be a 3rd division that's more of a arena football type of game.
Okay. Yeah, like tier 2.
Yeah, like smaller, maybe 5v5 and kind of arcade style. Like we might go up to 2% fumble chance. We might play with the settings a little bit. Like you can do all kinds of crazy things in private servers. So, maybe we make everybody faster for a play, or, there's a lot of things that don't work, which is limiting for us. But eventually there will be like this semi-pro arena football style league where those players that still want to play can kind of trickle over into that. So I guess back to your question about Perks is, yes, I expect to lose him in the draft. And so we're already recruiting new quarterbacks and looking to see what the next season roster will be. Yeah, it's pretty much going to be a new Grizzlies team next season.
Yeah. Does that hurt a little bit, or are you more excited than anything?
No, I'm excited because, I definitely like the season 1 talent is pretty evenly spread out between college and pro. And I want the best of the best to go pro. I want them to be up there in pro so that we can focus on development in college. So I'm excited because that means I've got a ton of rookies coming in that we can work with. Yeah.
No, that's really exciting. I wish you best of luck, in the postseason and then further on in season 2.
Yeah.
Speaking of, when will season 2 occur? Because I know you mentioned that the FL, what's it called? The other league, LFG.
Yeah.
In the LFG league, the seasons went by pretty quickly, and this one's taken 2 months to get through.
Right.
So how long of a off season are you planning on having, in between each season? Is it going to be like pretty consistent, like you're having like 4 seasons a year kind of thing, or like
I don't know how it shakes out as far as the year goes. I would assume it probably come down to just about 4. We will have 4 weeks of off season on a normal year. 4 weeks is the planned off season, and that's the plan for now. I mean, we'll have to see how this off season goes, but this off season is going to be 8 because like I said, we have expansion to work with. We have a lot of teams that we're hoping to expand into, and then the big thing that I want to make sure that we have time to set up is we want to have a website, and this website is where like the standings and the schedule will be hosted, and a lot of our stats and those kind of leaderboards. So I'm working with a buddy of mine to develop that, but the big part of the website will be ideally a merch store. And in this merch store, I mean, you can use real money to buy your team's merch. That's why we didn't do NFL teams like every other league does, because it's copyright infringement regardless. But we have our own teams and our own franchises, and we can sell our own brands. So we're going to develop this merch store, but this ties back to that contract overhaul that I was talking about. Contracts right now, you get signed for a certain amount of money, a minimum of $100K. And ideally, by the time the contract's over, you actually get paid that amount. We have a lot of franchise owners that are taking over and releasing a bunch of players right now, which is super against the rules, but there's also not a whole lot that I can do about it. And what I want to do, I'm working with our bot developer, is here in the next few weeks, we're going to be looking at making the contracts payable weekly. The players will get a paycheck into their Discord account every week with their, it's pretend money here. But that pretend money is going to be redeemable in a store that is hosted on the website, where you can get, depending on how much you save up, you could get all kinds of merch. You could buy yourself league things, like if you're suspended, you could buy a get unsuspended pass, that kind of thing. There's a whole lot of things that we're going to be able to sell with that, contract money. And the biggest thing that I would like to be able to do, and I don't know how realistic it is, I have to kind of like really do some math with the economy here, but